like it was yesterday. You up to your eyeballs in paperwork? Francis coated in chalk dust from the blackboards.
You mistaking my lab notes for a trash pile and throwing away weeks of work?
Yeah, it'd be nice to see it again.
They bulldozed that facility to the ground. There's nothing left to reminisce about.
Do you ever regret all this?
From the very second I heard your voice coming through my speakers.
I mean, everything that happened here. Handing over Lynn, the way the project ended. It cost you Alan. You know, your career. The entire damn Olympic Peninsula. But you're still here.
So are you. You chose your urban legends over everything else.
And you wonder if I regret it?
Oh, I have no interest in regret. I want to know if you ever felt that leaving was a real option.
After everything I've seen and heard and felt here? No, not a chance.
Then we have that in common. How's Francis?
He hasn't left the bedroom.
I'm sorry you didn't know about his demotion. It wasn't my secret to tell.
It's fine. This is between him and me. So, what did Alan tell you about his work? He was second in command of Dr. K's lab, after all.
Alan didn't discuss his work with me, nor did I share mine with him.
Wait, you were head of the whole stinking department. You must have known something about what their lab was doing.
If there was anything useful to be found, I'd have sussed it out already. Well, that's all I did after the accident. Try and fail to find any answers. Dr. K's access records were coded to the lab that used to be here.
I'm feeling less optimistic by the second. Now to scour this place clean.
Something's here. We just can't see it.
Oh, following a hunch. Not your usual MO, Offie.
No, but being suspicious of Arda is.
Hang on, where are you going? That should have been the end of the facility.
According to the blueprints, anyway.
Protocol activated. Scan Arda's security credentials immediately.
Well. After all these years and Arda still has something to hide. We're definitely onto something now.
Driver, anything you find down there, scan and transmit it back to us. We'll work on disengaging the security protocol.
Okay, here's something. This thing in the deep zone, they called it the Well.
Fantastic. Tobias, run those reports through the decryptor and see what you can find. Oh, you'll like this, Tobias. Your remnant origin story, if you will.
Let me guess. You're about to ruin a good urban legend with a bunch of science.
Fine, I'll read this one myself. Nice work, Driver. We'll review these and summarize our findings after. These lab notes are complete gibberish.
What about these diagrams, though? It looks like he was trying to convey something.
You can admire the doctor's newfound art skills all you want. You won't find anything useful in them.
This is...
A decrypted record of the accident. Poppy, are you sure you want to hear this? It's got details about Alan's final moments.
It's been over 30 years. I'm past ready. Go on, Driver. Keep snooping and see what else you can find. Alan's lab notes. Maybe my late husband sent us something useful from the grave after all.
And you're all clear.
Give us a moment. We'll let you know what we found in all this data. Make your way back to the auto shop after you're done scouring the place. And Driver, thank you. Driver, you hit the jackpot. We've got a lead on what you're heading toward in the deep zone. Tobias, give us the rundown about the well.
ARDA classified it as a hotspot of ultra-high energy gamma radiation. Its eruptions were spontaneous, and ultimately ARDA made no conclusion about what caused it, when it would blow, or how destructive it would be. ARDA, of course, wanted to control this bottomless well of energy. So they brought in Dr. K and Alan to research activation and containment. They discovered a way to reliably trigger the well.
And that was the remnants.
And that's what the remnants have been leading people towards. The well. This second report's a good one. Ready to hear where the remnants came from? The original remnants were created in Dr. K's lab. They aimed to create a trigger for activating the well by infusing objects with a carefully calibrated limb wave. The ones that shared a resonant frequency would...
Yeah, just get to the good stuff.
You know, you'd be a much better ghost hunter if it weren't for that unfortunate attention span. Reading this makes it obvious how the remnants ended up in the wild.
Wait, what? How?
The gamma ray surge that caused the mass hallucination event. That energy irradiated everything within a 10-mile radius. Objects with the right characteristics absorbed that energy and became the remnants people found out in the zone.
Wow. Francis would get a kick out of that one. I'll tell him later.
I've reviewed Dr. K's lab notes. Now we know what he was doing in that lab after the accident.
spinning in circles for years.
His injuries were real. Dr. K's radiation exposure should have been fatal.
And the minute he could stand on his feet again, Otis shuttled him right back to his lab and bid the monkey to dance.
They allowed him to carry on in the hopes that he would reproduce anything useful. He worked for 2 whole years before they quietly retired him from his post.
Sorry we scrambled your brain. Here's your pension. Bye.
You've got that accident record ready, Tobias?
It's time.
Okay, then. September 14, 1961. Otis finalized report on what happened that night. Dr. K and Alan were testing the activation potential of lab-created remnants. That night was a run-of-the-mill remnant test. Nothing out of the ordinary. The remnant in question was a tungsten cube. At 3:23 a.m., the cube was brought towards the well. The well reacted at nominal levels. However, at the 500-meter distance, the cube was sucked into the well and triggered the gamma ray surge. The energy output continued ramping up, and at 15 seconds, showed no signs of stopping. Then, Alan...
Go on. I can handle it.
Dr. K testified that Alan engaged the suppression protocol, then the kill switch, both of which failed. Dr. K ordered Alan to get to safety, but Alan insisted on staying at the controls. Only when he flipped the radiation polarity did the energy output plateau, then collapse back into itself. Alan's gamma radiation exposure was fatal due to his proximity to the well. If it weren't for him, the entire zone might have gone under.
That's who Alan was. Loyal until the very end.
I'm sorry, Oppie.
I'd expect nothing less from him. Once that car gets to the well, we can expect another gamma ray eruption. We'll need a way to cut it off. And I may have found the answer in Alan's lab notes. His work on that suppression technique was top-notch.
What's interesting is Dr. K and Alan didn't know any more than we do now. They had no conclusions about what the well is.
Or what the remnants did. Or how they interacted with this well. Maybe they're ladles that scoop out a metered amount of gamma radiation. Maybe they trigger an eruption that we can't stop and will destroy the zone if we get it too close.
That's a hell of a range. What are we going to do?
We keep going.
But if it's an eruption...
I already sacrificed the Olympic Peninsula once for Limtech. How many chances for total and utter fallout does a girl get in her life, huh?
Harvey, in another life, we would have made a fantastic team.
In no universe would I not have murdered you in your sleep.
the deep zone. Easy peasy.
Except for the issue of the old wall.
Right, yeah. That.
You got some genius idea up your sleeve, huh?
Is that how you think it works? That scientists conjure up genius at will?
Well, yeah. Do you?
Well, in this case, I do. But don't expect it to work like that every time. Driver, the quarantine checkpoints will be the best way through the old wall, but they're death traps in their own right. But I designed something to help. Check out the blueprints I sent over. The old anomalies took up residence in the crossing points. It's not enough to have a shield. The shield itself needs to be shielded.
The energy drain on that shield is massive. It won't last you more than 5 seconds.
Yes, and?
You'll need to recharge on the go, but the deep zone's grid is completely dark.
You know, what if we could reroute our power into the deep zone? But we'd need to jumpstart the network somehow.
That car is basically the world's most overpowered electromagnet on wheels. The driver induces a current, then you open the electrical floodgates.
They'd have to induce the current the entire way through the old wall while making the crossing and maintaining speed.
I don't know what to tell you. If you don't believe the driver and that car's got what it takes by now, then go back to hunting ghosts. We've got a job to do here.
This could work. Are you in, Francis?
I don't know.
Look, we have a real chance of losing everything at the old wall. I'd like to not fail this far along.
How can we know this will work?
We don't. That's how science works. We form a theory, and we test it, and we fail. And fail, and fail, and only sometimes do we succeed.
Come on, Francis. Please?
Fine. I'll do it.
All right. The team is assembled.
Driver, get on with building that limb shield. We'll work on spinning up the power grid in the meantime. Nice work on that limb shield, driver. We'll have the power grid prepped by the time you reach the old wall.
tracks are jumping on their own now. The rain is asking if I know how much it hurts when the earth ain't green. But we can't know what could have grown. The rain will fall, the wind will blow, na na na. The tracks will pull us down below, na na na. They may control the money's flow, na na na. My aching soul is durable, na na na. My aching soul is durable.
Hoppy, I gotta ask. Were you around when the old wall was nearly breached?
You want to know if I was involved?
I mean, sure. No one knew more about where anomalies came from than you. Heck, I mean, the only reason anyone knew anything about anomalies was because of the research branch that you four started to build.
Yes, and we developed ways to prevent anomalies, not create them.
You can't prevent something if you don't know where it's created in the first place.
So you did pick up a thing or two around us scientists.
Alls I know is, Arda didn't give two craps about anomaly prevention. You fought uphill the entire way.
Never thought I'd see the day where you'd sugarcoat anything coming out of your mouth. The Harmonic Disruption Research Lab was an abject failure. No, I wasn't involved, but I stood by and let it happen. By that point, the LIM project was in a bad way. Either it found a breakthrough and justified the government resources it was sucking up, or the entire project was put down. Everything depended on this technological quantum leap that evaded us for decades.
In response, all good sense went straight out the window. For every wonder pulled out of thin air, LIM technology conjured increasingly greater horrors. But it was done in the name of progress. We were powerless to stop it. The Harmonic Disruption Research Branch was all I could do to soften the atrocities Arda unleashed in the name of progress. I tried to clean up my mess, but I failed. You're not the first to try crossing the old wall since the anomalies moved in.
But we'll make sure you're the first to survive. Two things to keep in mind. First, to get through the old wall, there are 5 crossing points. You need to induce the electrical grid the entire way by driving the car close enough and fast enough along the conductors. You'll see them as you go. Once you jumpstart the grid, Tobias will route the mid-zone power your way, but no induction, no power, no crossing. Second, watch your battery gauge. You will live or die by that thing. Got it? Good. Start by connecting the power grid at the first crossing point. The controls will be up in the observation tower. shuttle stops at each crossing point. Use use them to recharge your battery and hope they're still in working condition after all these years.
How's the power router?
Well, the neighbors are complaining about the flickering lights, but I told them to light some candles and sit tight.
Francis?
Levels are good, holding steady. Circuit complete. Keep it up, driver. Tobias. The power supply is wavering.
I'm working on it. Our local battery farm is putting up a fuss. She hasn't been taxed like this in a while, but I'm easing her into it. Don't worry.
Battery farms 1 through 3 are reporting total power drain. They're spent.
How long to recharge?
Could take up to a day.
No, I got this. Oh, shit.
Total power loss on stations 9 through 15.
I'm on it. Oh, shit.
Get that power back up. The gate at the final crossing point won't open without it.
I'm rerouting power from Battery Farm 6.
Easy. Too much and you'll blow out your control center.
Too little and the entire array's going down. We have no choice.
overloaded. It's shutting down. We can't lose the remnant. I won't let it go.
Get back inside! The radiation's peaking!
I've got to repair it. I'll be damned if I'm gonna let this plan fail. We're too close. Your theory, we can still prove it.
Tom, it's too dangerous out there! Tobias! Please, Tobias, come back! Tobias, please come back!
I'm at the battery farm. The fuel box is fully liquefied, but I can bypass
board.
Not now!
The minute Tobias reroutes that line, we need to push the connection. Miss it by a split second and we lose the entire power grid.
Almost ready.
Please don't do this!
Francis, it's now or never.
I'm rerouting the grid now. I'll be ready for you.
Give us a signal, Tobias. Tobias, stay with us.
I got you on me. Friends. Well, what do you know? One time, I cried myself out of things to say. Bobby, take care of him for me.
Tobias!
Francis, I love you forever.
I love you forever.
Power's back online. Francis, now!
Tobias, answer. Tobias, answering.
Don't do it! You can't go out there! Driver, the power's holding steady. You can open that final gate. The entire area got scrambled in instability. I'm afraid Tobias...
I told you. I told you, didn't I? We weren't ready. We should have planned it better. We should have known.
We did the best we could.
No. Do not give me that. If we had, he'd be here with us.
I'm sorry, but we've got to help the driver.
Don't you dare. What? Wait, is this how you dealt with Alan's death? You put your head down and let Mort fill the gaps?
Actually, that's precisely what I did. And you'll recall the breakthrough in self-healing materials that I made that year.
Oh, well, good for you. I'm sure Alan would have been very proud of you using his death that way.
You know what? That whole pep talk I gave you before to convince you to go through with it. That's precisely the same crap Alan would tell me all the time. It's worth the sacrifice. Stay late, don't worry about me. Finish your work, then we can start a family. Always he'd spew that crap.
So why'd you say it to me?
Because he has to have been right. Because if I let myself think he was wrong, then... I can't live with that regret. I gave everything for Lim. This is the last thing I'm holding on to for myself. Every single day, I still think about how if I had left the zone when we had planned to, I wouldn't have lost Alan. I hoped that Lim Tech was done killing our own. I'm sorry about Tobias.
Tobias was all I had. I need to sign off for a while.
We'll be here when you're ready. Glad you got through, driver. Power on that stabilizer, and I'll see you back at the garage. Welcome back. Now we know where the well is, but you're the first to step foot in the deep zone in over 15 years.
And I need more time to understand Alan's suppression method. So why don't you stretch your legs and chart the deep zone while you're at it? We'll need to map a way to the well as it is.